My name is Helen Spiropoulos, and I'm the Admissions Manager at Stafford Associates. This evening, I am joined by Dr. Matthew Higgins from the University of Leicester, who will be chatting to you about the Leicester MBA program. And I'm just looking here on my left-hand side, and I can see that some of you have already joined us. Good evening to Abdullah and Abu and Diala and Mazen. Welcome, everyone. Okay, how are we going to do this presentation this evening? Is I'm just going to chat very briefly about Stafford. I'm then going to hand you over to Dr. Higgins, who will, as I said, chat about the program. And once the presentation has completed, if you look at your chat box on your left-hand side, you can type any questions that you have for Dr. Higgins, and he will do his best to answer all of them. Please ensure when you do type in the questions, you send it to everyone. In other words, if you look at the bottom of your chat box, you'll see a little tab that says send to everyone. So when you do type those questions, everyone that is participating in this webinar can see exactly what questions have been posted. Okay, so let us quickly begin. Who is Stafford Associates? Now, you have obviously joined this webinar, which means that you have been in contact with one of our consultants at Stafford, and we are the very first resource center provider for distance learning education in Middle East. We were established in 1993. We are currently the resource center for 5 UK universities, one of which is the University of Leicester, and we do offer a variety of programs, starting from certificates to diplomas, bachelor degrees, the MBAs, the MECs, as well as the doctorates. And our function here for you is to provide you with the administrative support as well as some academic support. So we're basically here to assist you with your application process. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand you over to Dr. Higgins. I'm just going to switch off my camera for a while, and I'll be joining you shortly towards the end of the presentation.
Thank you, Helen. That was a very useful introduction. As Helen said, my name is Matthew Higgins. I'm an academic at the University of Leicester. I'd like to thank you first for your time this evening. Obviously, we're all very busy people, and so taking part in these webinars is a very useful way of finding out a little bit more about what Leicester does and what the MBA is about. Just to give you some background on who I am, I joined the University of Leicester in 1998. I provide support on the MBA program, both through academic mentoring, a little bit of tutoring, and I also supervise dissertations. In addition to all of that, I'm the Director of Distance Learning for the School of Management, and I also co-lead on the university distance learning programs. I've obviously been at Leicester a long time, and I'm very proud of what Leicester does in terms of distance learning. We set out right from the start to provide an accessible means for students to study high-level, high-quality programs away from the campus environment. And we've been doing this for a number of years. Our first distance learning programs were launched in 1989, and we're one of the leading distance learning providers in the UK. So in terms of what the university is about, we are an established university. You can see on the screen that we were founded in 1921, and we received the royal status in 1957. But more than that, we're not just established, we are also an institution that believes very firmly in our teaching being informed by research. So the staff who teach on the programs will be doing research, will be publishing in the major journals and producing books, in addition, in many cases, to providing consultancy work. In terms of how good we are, if we look at the rankings, we can see that we're in the top 1% of universities in the world according to the Times World Rankings, the top 2% according to the QS rankings, and we're recognized as a very research-intensive institution. All of our staff, of which we have nearly 130 in the School of Management alone, will be research active in one way or another. You can also see on the screen some of the awards we've won recently, one of the best ones being the National Student Survey, which recognises our willingness to work with students in a participatory environment. So moving on to the MBA. We're obviously an established MBA provider. We're one of the first distance learning providers with AMBA accreditation. AMBA being the Association of MBAs who oversee the quality of MBA teaching around the world, and it's a recognized accreditation body. And we've held that accreditation for a number of years now. But more recently, we have been accredited by the Chartered Management Institute as well. And this comes with a number of benefits for students. Whereas AMBA recognises the quality aspect of the programme, the Chartered Management Institute recognise the quality but also provide resources for students. So not only if you complete the MBA will you receive a diploma from the CMI, but you'll also get access to their membership scheme, which opens up resources on management skills as well as a wide network of fellow professionals. So it's a very useful dual accreditation that we enjoy. Just talking you through the MBA program structure. The program's been designed for distance learning. Like I said before, we have a lot of experience of delivering flexible programs to our students. And the way in which we tend to work our programs is to give students options. Students can study the MBA over a 2 to 4 year period. Most students complete within 2.5 to 3 years due to work commitments. But you'll see on the screen that we have 3 key stages. In the first month of joining the program, we spend a month with you, taking you through what it means to study in a higher education environment, helping those students who have not studied in a university before to get up to speed with writing skills, research, using the library, networking, etc. And the first module, Ask, or Academic Skills and Knowledge, is very much focused on making sure that you enter the program with the right frame of mind, with the right goals set, and with a clear sense of what you hope to achieve as you progress through the program. You'll then study your modules in 4 monthly blocks, and you'll normally study 2 modules at the same time. So, for example, you may study marketing, design and operations and business ethics in a global context in the first 4 months. The modules in the first stage are designed to provide you with the foundations of management. So you can see that they are quite broad in scope, covering issues such as leadership, organizational change, organizational structure, introduction to accountancy, marketing, design, advertising, branding, as well as a discussion about the ethics of doing business in an international context. You'll be studying this in an international context as well. Not only is the material designed for an international audience, but the key thing is that you are studying with a network of people situated all around the world. The university is very proud of the fact that it does recruit students with such a wide international scope, and the various forms of experience that these individuals bring to the program is one of the key assets that we greatly enjoy. Once you've completed the first 4 modules, you move on to stage 2, and you finalize with corporate finance and strategy, business information and analysis. That concludes your core modules on the program. These are all compulsory, so everything from Ask to strategy, business information and analysis are core. They're critical for you to study. You then have a choice. You'll have a choice of about 11 modules and you need to select 2. Those modules range from anything from branding and communications, business to business management, knowledge management, etc. Once you have that general grounding in management and you've identified your areas of interest, What we ask you then to do is undertake a piece of independent study. It's basically a project looking at an organizational context, an organizational problem, or a market problem, and that's through a dissertation process. So you can see in stage 3, you have research methods and a dissertation, which allows you to look at how to plan your project, discuss your project with the supervisor, and then undertake a rigorous piece of independent research. For many students, the dissertation is the highlight of the program because it showcases what they're capable of doing. It enables them to demonstrate their knowledge from those previous modules, and it allows you to work one-to-one with an academic to resolve an organizational problem. You can see that the course duration we say is 24 months, but you have the option of studying up to 4 years. It depends upon your how busy you are in the workplace, your social commitments, your family commitments, etc. We take 3 cohorts each year. So you can see it's February, June and October. And in each cohort, we aim to recruit something in the region of 8 to 120 students. So we can make sure that we have a wide range of students on the program at a particular time. You will study, however, in groups of roughly 20. So you'll have a small study group focus, and that will often be reduced to subgroups of about 6 students. I mentioned earlier that you have the options or to choose which modules you want to do in the later stages of the program. That also feeds into our specialisms, which is quite unusual on our MBA program. And we offer 3 specialisms, one in marketing, one in finance, and one on human resource management. And you select your specialism about halfway through your program. And for some students, they don't want to specialize, and so you can just do the general MBA. If you want to specialize, what you need to do is you need to choose 2 electives or 2 options from a selected list. So if you wanted to do marketing, you would do business-to-business marketing and supply chain management, plus branding and communications. In addition to that, your dissertation needs to be in the area of marketing. Providing you're successful in your electives, your dissertation and your core modules, you'll be awarded an MBA brackets marketing. The same applies for finance, where you suggest or you identify 2 modules which you'd like to do, and your dissertation needs to be in finance. If you don't wish to specialize, if you just want an MBA without brackets, then you can choose any of our options suite, and you can do your dissertation in any area of management, providing you get the support of your supervisor. In terms of how each module is assessed, each module will have one form of assessment. In some cases, that will be an assignment. That will be something of the region of 3,000 to 4,000 words, which will be focused on usually an issue within management or an issue within your organization that relates to the module that you're studying. If the module is assessed by an examination, you'll sit the examination at the end of the module in one of the British Council local centres, and the examination is usually of a 2-hour duration. And the examination will assess various parts of the module, particularly your knowledge and your application. There are 2 exceptions to this, and that is the first module, which is academic skills and knowledge, which is designed to allow you to be teamed up with your academic mentor. And during the Ask module, what you're asked to produce is a portfolio, which enables you to outline what your targets are, what your plans are, time management, and how you intend to approach your program. The other exception is the dissertation, which involves a 12,000 word piece of writing focused on a management issue or a management problem. Although we refer to this as distance learning, one of the key things to say is that you are closely supported by the University of Leicester as you undertake your studies. Whereas people on campus will have lectures, what you will have is flexible material. So what you receive will be study materials, online in most cases, video materials, as well as lectures and seminars online. When you start the program, you'll be allocated an academic mentor. And the role of the academic mentor is to ensure you're ready to study, to discuss any issues you have with studying, and to monitor.
Good evening, everyone. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, can everyone hear me? Oh, fantastic, Mazen, thank you. Okay, it seems that we have just lost a little bit of contact with Dr. Higgins. Okay. Oh, hello, Dr. Higgins.
Am I back?
Okay.
Can you hear me okay? Thank you, Helen.
Continue.
Thank you. In terms of the study skills support, you will have access to online resources which will help you with referencing, writing essays, etc. And the academic mentor's role is there also to help you with your work. And it can be particularly helpful, for instance, if you have, can we start from the previous slide? Of course we can. Yes, no problem. There we go. Okay, so you want to know about the exams and assignments. Like I was saying earlier when you couldn't hear me, what we have for every single module, you'll have a piece of assessment. That will either take the form of an assignment, which will be a written piece of work, which you undertake in your own time, which is usually of about 3,000 to 4,000 words. That will usually be on a key topic within management, and in most cases, what you'll have is you'll be encouraged to reflect upon the issue within your own organizational context. And for some students, that can be seen as a means by exploring some problems within your organization with a view to providing a solution. Other modules are assessed solely by an examination. And this will be usually a 2-hour examination where you'll be assessed against the knowledge within the module. And the questions will be focused very much on assessing how you understand the material and how you can apply that into a practical perspective. There are 2 exceptions to this. There is the academic skills and knowledge module, where you're not asked for an assignment or an exam, you're asked to produce a formative portfolio. And what that essentially helps you to do is it opens up the conversation with your academic mentor, so that when you're talking to the mentor, you can talk about your timescales, the goals that you have for the program, whether you're aiming for a distinction, merit, or a pass, and some of the challenges that you may be facing, such as fitting in your studies around your family and your work life. In terms of the support, although you will be studying at a distance, one of the key things perhaps I need to say is that you're welcome on campus at any point. We have a summer school each year, usually in the last weeks of August, where students from around the world come to Leicester and they spend a week with us listening to lectures, taking part in workshops, networking, social events, listening to guest speakers, which is a very productive environment. It also gives you a chance to meet people face to face that you would normally meet online. So people who provide you with study skill support, for instance, your lecturers, your tutors, your academic mentors. When you start a module, you'll receive access to our online environment, where you'll be given all the material that you need to study the module. This will involve, for instance, explanations of key terms, concepts. It will talk about case studies, applications of knowledge, and it will give you a chance to discuss key issues. You'll be studying mainly in groups of about 20. And within that group, you'll be further subdivided into mini groups, which will enable you to enjoy the international experience. In addition to all of that, we have a very extensive online library provision. So access to books, to journals, to key market data, for instance, especially if you're in the finance field, which is very useful for you to be able to see how to apply certain knowledge to your modules. And finally, on top of all of that, we have a very extensive career development service, both within the school and the university. And that is one area that we're particularly focusing on at the moment, so that we can provide you with access to jobs that are available around the world, and also to give you support in terms of improving your CV or interview techniques. In terms of what we expect when people join the program, we're looking for students from around the world. We want that international experience for our students. We're also looking for people who are very committed and who understand that studying by distance learning requires you to be a very good planner, a very good individual who's focused on achieving success. We ask for a UK degree of a 2-2 or equivalent, and 3 years minimum work experience. That's a key aspect of AMBA, the Association of MBAs. But we do accept professional qualifications or considerable management experience. You also require English language, and that requires an IELTS score of 6.5 or TOEFL of 575. Or alternatively, you can take the University of Leicester English test. And the final screen unfortunately shows you the fees, and they're expressed in US dollars. Okay, if you do have any questions, I can see a few questions are coming along already. I'm more than happy to respond to them.
Okay, Dr. Higgins, I can see there's a question from Mazen, just explaining the entry requirements. I think we've actually covered that, Mazen. And then Ahmed has asked about the accreditation and global ranking.
Okay, hello Ahmed. The accreditation is through the Association of MBAs and also the Chartered Management Institute. So we have double accreditation there. The Association of MBAs, the AMBA standard, are the body responsible for overseeing the standards of MBAs across the world. In terms of the CMA, that is an accreditation we've sought to enable students to get access to a wide range of resources. In terms of global rankings, I said in the earlier slide that it depends on which rankings you're looking at, but for the University of Leicester is positioned either in the top 1% of world universities or the top 2% of world universities. And Abu, do we receive textbooks for each of the modules? It depends on the module. You will have access to all the learning materials that you need access to. Today, most textbooks that we use are online. If they're not available online, then we provide them for you. There are no additional costs in terms of your key readings. We don't ask you to buy any texts. They're included within the fee. If you wish to choose to buy further books, we can certainly provide examples of what you might want to look at. However, in saying that, most of the books that we will be using and what we will be recommending are covered by our library. It's a very extensive library. Ahmed, why should you take the Leicester MBA and not the Bradford MBA? It's a very good question. I would suggest that the Leicester MBA is slightly different to Bradford's approach. The Leicester MBA has been running for a number of years now. We're a highly experienced school of management. And one of the benefits of being a school of management is that we have a wide range of academics with very varied interests. What these individuals or these academics bring to the program is very different perspectives. So what you won't see on a Leicester MBA is your traditional MBA. You won't see a toolbox where you're just told this is what you do and this is how you apply it. You'll be forced to answer questions, undertake a critical analysis of basic concepts. And you'll see that most of the material that you will receive will either be written by Leicester academics or that will be supported by Leicester academics. Right, let me just go through. I do not have a bachelor degree in business. To be honest, a lot of our students don't have a bachelor's degree in business. A lot of students use the MBA to transfer from their original subject area. That could be engineering, pharmacy, etc. That's not a problem, Abdullah. And is it compulsory for me to attend the graduation in the UK? No, it's not compulsory. However, it's always great to see students who have completed the program. It gives us an opportunity to congratulate you and also to see what your plans are post-graduation. Dayla, if I'm unable to take 2 modules in the first phase, when should I take it? You can the terminology is slightly odd because it's university, but you can suspend your studies providing you give us sufficient notice. So, for example, if you were due to start 2 modules in, say, July, and you find that you're on a work placement, so you will not be able to do that work, then all we do is we ask you to tell us that you want to do this. We'll suspend your studies for that session, and then you'll resume your studies 4 months later. So it is very flexible in that way. However, in saying that, you do have to remember that you have a limited time to complete the program, and that is 4 years. Is the summer school workshop compulsory? No, it's not. However, students who attend the summer school tend to find that if they do it at the beginning or at the end of their studies, it's very productive. What the summer school does is it introduces you to a very wide network of people who are studying the programs and who are studying distance learning per se. It also puts you in touch with your lecturers and your academic mentors on a face-to-face basis, so you get to know them a lot better. But it's not compulsory, but it is strongly encouraged, and it's always good to see students join the summer school. In terms of the top 1%, the ranking is the Times World Rankings. In terms of the top 2%, it's the QS rankings. Abdullah, halfway through my program, can I switch to full-time studies at the university itself? I'm afraid not at the moment. That is something we're looking into. Mazan, can you explain again general MBA program? Yes, of course. On the Leicester MBA, you have the option to specialize if you wish. The specialisms can be in marketing, human resource management, and finance. If you don't wish to specialize, what you can simply do is simply have the MBA. So that simply means that you're awarded the MBA without the specialism. If you choose the general MBA, you have a wider choice of elective options. Omar, if I fail the module, what happens next? Hopefully you won't fail, and if you use the support effectively, we would hope that you will get through the materials and the modules successfully. If you do fail any module, or if you do fail a module, you're given the option to resit or resubmit the piece of work. If that does occur, my advice is that you talk to your academic mentor and the module leader and see where you went wrong with the first submission so that you can improve in the next submission. Ali, can we download all lecture videos from the Blackboard? It's a good question. I would need to check on that. We do offer recordings of webinars, seminars, as well as the normal videos, but it will depend upon whether you can download it onto your hard drive. That is something I'd need to look into because it would depend upon your operating system. Can I take 1 module instead of 2 in one phase? Yes, you can. So you could do 1 session with 1 module, the next session with 2 modules. The key really with studying at distance is to maintain a momentum. One thing we try and discourage students from doing is just stopping, because what tends to happen then is it gets very difficult to get back into your studies. And as an academic mentor, one of the things I spend a lot of time doing is talking to students and encouraging them just to persevere. And if they can go from 2 to 1 module, which makes your life easier, then that is fine. What are the possibilities to retake? And how many times can you do that? You have the possibility to retake a module once. So if you fail an assignment or an examination, you can retake that assessment. If you fail the module, then obviously you won't pick up the credits for that module. The university regulations do permit a maximum fail rate of 2 modules in a program. So, for instance, if you were to fail organizational behavior and, say, marketing design and operations, and providing you don't fail at a significant level, then you can still be awarded the MBA. Obviously, we would not encourage that approach. Right. Can I spend the last 4 months on Leicester Direct? I'm not sure I understand your question, Ahmed. If you can rephrase that, that would be helpful.
He's basically asking is if the last 4 months of his studies, can he be in Leicester itself and therefore be able to also, attend the graduation a little bit later? I'm thinking that's what Ahmed's asking.
In terms of, you're always welcome to come to Leicester. When you're on your dissertation, we have in the past had students who have relocated to Leicester, studied the dissertation here in Leicester, spending time in the library. The graduation occurs a few months after you've completed your programs. So that's something to be aware of. So if you were to complete, for instance, in July, the graduation would not be until January the following year. What is duration for each module? Good question. It's 4 months, apart from Ask, which is 1 month, and a dissertation. Can we share the presentation, Helen?
Yes, definitely, Manal. Your consultant will be able to actually send that to you tomorrow. So the presentation will be shared with everyone tomorrow, definitely.
Right, we've got a question now on accreditation. That's a very good question. It's quite topical at the moment. The University of Leicester is recognised by the UAE Ministry of Education. We're in discussions with them at the moment on this issue as well. Do I pay for the failed modules if I wish to submit? No, there's no further payments. The fee that's stated is the fee that you will pay, regardless of how many modules you complete, fail, etc. The only thing I will say is at the moment, we do charge an additional charge for summer school if you wish to attend that. And the fee, I think, for this year is about £500. And that fee covers your accommodation and your meals whilst you're here at Leicester, plus your social entertainment. Okay, Ahmed, you come back with a question on the ranking for the MBA. Yes, Bradford is a triple accredited. The University of Leicester's ranking on the MBA I don't have available, I'm afraid.
Okay, Matthew, it seems that that's all the questions for this evening. Thank you, everybody, for giving us wonderful questions, and I'm sure Dr. Higgins is actually. Sorry, Dr. Higgins, I see there's just 2 short little questions that have come in.
Okay, Rias, how long is the summer school? It's a week. It usually takes place from Friday to Friday. And Ali, we have a period of 4 years, which if I want to have a long break in between. You're allowed a maximum period of suspension of 12 months.
Okay, all right. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Diala. Okay, Dr. Higgins, I think that's it for this evening. Fantastic question asked by the students, and thank you for answering all those quite effectively. We will definitely be in touch with all of you that have participated in this webinar this evening. So do expect a call from your consultant in the next couple of days, if not as early as tomorrow. And we'll definitely be able to share the slide with you tomorrow. Once again, thank you, Dr. Higgins, and looking forward to seeing you again at our next webinar. Good evening, everyone.
Thanks, Helen, and thank you.